YB stays on your neck.
It's on my neck.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So what you see on your screen now is a video posted up by the landlord himself on his IG and his Twitter. So I'm going to give my reaction. I got to say I'm not disappointed, that's for sure. I think he looks sharp, man. Them 1-2s, them straight shots look sharp. Proper sharp, and when he turns that hook over, you don't get stuff like this in. I've told you that before. Listen, you don't get these kind of. No one else is turning shots over like this, unfortunately. When you watch Fury, you see these caved in elbows. He's slapping, no power. This here is power, ferociousness. That's what we do know, and it's interesting because I've got some other videos coming soon, obviously, and AJ's made some comments about his attitude and encouraging comments. We're seeing it a lot more, and I'm what's the word? I feel enlightened, not enlightened. I feel whatever that word is, where I feel happy. Yeah, good. 2 weeks in, good. This is what I'm glad to be hearing. Much better than I'm better to be hearing this than hearing that other stuff we was hearing before about. Oh yeah. Remember before the first fight, the Ruiz fight? Oh yeah, take the belt, all that kind of goofy stuff. Yeah, I'm glad that we're hearing. People are sort of like, who is it, Hatman? Was it Hatman or some idiot like that who was saying, oh yeah, AJ shouldn't be a. In fact, no, it wasn't Hatman. Some idiot was saying, oh yeah, AJ shouldn't be saying these things. What? Because AJ said something like, I want people to bow to my feet, and you're damn right. That's what people will be doing. You've got that right, and you got to remember that AJ's in a very particular place because he's coming from being very beloved by everyone, and all of a sudden, come June 1st, a lot of people changed up. I'd say about half of the man changed up, and that's where that snare comes through. He's realised there's a lot of fake dons out there. And that's why he's saying, all them fake-ass looking bandwagon dons, you man best get on your knees and bless him. Simple as that, and I completely agree. Anyone who's out there who's moist, I think even the interviewer said to him, shouldn't you be more humble? I thought, you stick that humbleness clean at your ass. How about that? That's where that humbleness needs to go. This isn't a humble game. This is a ruthless game. A truly Jed game. We saw how June 1st went down. Truly Jed. Yeah? Look, there's nothing humble about it, unfortunately. Yeah, when you're too humble, that's what happens. On June 1st, too humble in that one. Purely ruthless. And when you retire, and whatever else, when you become a civilian, it's like people in the army or whatever. They talk about becoming a civilian again. It's a different mindset. And that's the same as, I'm not being funny, in my opinion, people shooting guns is different to boxing. It's much more. It's hand-to-hand combat. In my opinion, it's much more. Not more. It's obviously not more deadly. But when you get shot, you don't know anything about it. Do you know what I mean? You just get shot, and then it's happened. Whereas boxing, you're in there and you're feeling the little, each little. It's like hand-to-hand combat. It's different, a completely different thing. You're in there and your actions can actually change things. If you get shot by someone, you can't really change much. You're shot. But in boxing, it's a constantly. What I'm trying to say is, your mindset and your attitude and your actions. You decide what happens in there. And with that in mind, if your brain's a particular way, if you're thinking moistly, then that's going to impact your actions. You're going to be fighting moistly, which ends up with your. However, at June 1st, as an example, for this one, especially this one, need to be completely ferocious. Now, if you're fighting Fury ain't got no power. Fury's useless. So, in my opinion, when AJ fights Fury, I'm happy for him to give him the belts because Fury can't do anything about it. Unfortunately, he ain't got no combinations, no power, no nothing. So AJ can be as moist as he likes against Fury because Fury can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? He ain't got no combinations, no speed, no power, no nothing. He's helpless in there. So it don't really matter. Your mindset don't really matter against Fury. However, against Ruiz, he's got speed and he's got combinations. Your power ain't there, but you don't really need power. When you're a 260-pound man, you don't need to have natural heavy-handedness. Anyone at 260 is going to have a natural level of power. Combine that with the speed, his hands are moving. It's a dangerous combination. Anyway, so my point is, from seeing this, from adding it all in, the combinations look good, and also his hands look higher to me, and they look more centered. Now it might be my imagination, but when I did a video a few days ago, and where AJ was playing around with that disabled woman, and his arm is guard was too wide. He was hugging his cheeks rather than being more square or being more central. And in this footage here, it looks more central. But that said, it might be because I've noticed myself, when you put gloves on, your guard does change. Things do become more. I think the thing is, when you're not got gloves on, your hands aren't as big, so you can naturally keep them more centered and it doesn't block your view. Whereas when you've got big or thick gloves or any gloves on, naturally your guard goes wider so that it doesn't impair your vision. So whatever, my fact of the matter is, in this footage here, his guard looks a lot more square, which is, in my opinion, better, because then you can you can parry the straight shots and always move your hands 2 inches away. I've got another video coming soon of managed to find it, but Lennox Lewis talks about it, about how Manny Stewart changed his guard, and I think that's something important. That I don't think it's going to hurt anyone or hurt AJ from hearing that himself. Anyway, back to this. Some people may say about, not just me actually, quite a few people have talked about how he needs to hold his feet, but you got to bear in mind that this is just training this is just training, and in training, it's good to move around and get them legs moving, because whether or not you're going to use that in the fight, it's another way to get the cardio up, by moving your feet around in circles, or just not skipping around, but by moving your feet, it keeps that heart rate up, which is what you need to do in training. And my whole thing is, if you learn to move your feet in a training mode, then when it comes to the fight and you're holding your feet, you're gonna be more calm and more relaxed. Does that make sense? If in training you're constantly doing explosive footwork, then it comes to the fight and you'll work it, and you've got a strategy where you're gonna hold your feet and bang essentially. It's gonna feel a lot easier, a lot more relaxed, because them legs that are used to moving aren't moving anymore. And one of the last things I'll say on this is just sharp. It looks sharp to me. I don't know about you lot. You lot can comment below, but it looks sharp to me. I think his head position is also not as, his chin looks a lot more tucked down. Maybe it's my imagination. You lot can comment below, but I just feel it looks a lot more tighter, man. And that makes sense, to be fair, because I remember when we done some analysis on his early Twitter and IG videos, we weren't impressed, but it didn't look as tight as this. Maybe it's my imagination. Maybe I don't know what to say, but this looks tight to me, man. Looks sharp and tight. Good combination. Not many holes there for Ruiz to poke through, especially when you consider things. It's hard to look. I find it's hard to look great shadow boxing without gloves on as well. I don't know what it is, but the fact this looks tight, it's good, because the reason I bring it up is to say that when you end up putting gloves on, if you haven't got many holes in your defense when you haven't got gloves on, when you put gloves on, there's even less holes, because gloves take up space. Does that make sense? So if you can keep it tight with your bare hand, when them gloves come on, you're even more defended. Does that make sense? Because the gloves are obviously bigger than your natural hand. So that's just another bonus that we're going to get from the fight. And essentially, just my advice would be, not that my advice is worth anything, but just keep it tight, man. Minimise them holes. From the first fight, the big thing was the whole hole part. When he got caught with him, I think it was it right hook? Was it right hook? Yeah, I think it was a right hook to the temple. That was there because his lead left hand was down. Keep it tight, man. Don't do all that goofy ass low hand business. Don't worry about that stuff. Like I said before, against Fury, great. In fact, against Fury, AJ can go in there and have his hands by his waist, literally both of them, Naz style. That's what I'd recommend for that fight. Just a pure take the piss. That's what I'd do if I were training AJ against Fury. I'd say, AJ, to this fight we're gonna go in with both hands by our waist. In fact, by our ankles. We'll just carry them gorilla style and just go in there, because Fury ain't got no power. Not even a bit of power does he have. None at all. Not even a bit of it. So you just go in there, march forward, chin in the air, and he ain't going to be able to do squat anyway. However, for this Ruiz fight, we know it's a proven commodity. Yeah? Proven commodity. So keep it tight, and just keep relaxed, man. And if I was... It's easy for me to say this, but in a way, I'd like to see AJ go in there against Ruiz and kind of just get comfortable. Like, I've seen Holyfield was great at doing this. Holyfield, he'd go in there against any given person, and you'd see him just in the centre of the ring, and he'd be happy taking, like, even when he fought Mike, he'd go in the centre of the ring against Mike. He wasn't backpedaling. He'd go in the centre of the ring with Mike, and you'd see Holyfield tuck up, and Mike would throw combinations, and he'd just hold it. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't mind seeing that from AJ against Ruiz. Go in there the first few rounds and just get comfortable in the middle of the ring, and get used to the speed without, because the thing is, how AJ got caught last time was by being countered, and half of that was to do with not having enough respect. So what I'm trying to say is, if you go in there and you don't even, like, it's hard to get hit clean when you're not throwing yourself. When you're solely focusing on defending, on catching the hooks or parrying the straights, when you go in there and you're not thinking about getting your own shots off, you're just thinking about, let me just try and defend, let me get used to this speed, let me get used to the combinations. It's hard to be hit. Yeah, when you've got your tight defense, there aren't many holes there, and I'm trying to think of examples of. Well, there's loads of people after fights will say that, like, as an example, who was it? I can't remember who it was. There's loads of people. Loads of people have fought lesser opponents, and after the fight they said, "Oh yeah, look, I couldn't stop him because he didn't come to fight. He didn't give me any holes." So people are basically slagging off their opponent, saying it's hard to knock out someone, or it's hard to stop someone who isn't fighting back. So with that in mind, sometimes you can go in there and not even worry so much about your own offense. Go in there, get comfortable, watch what's coming back, keep it tight. Don't try and get your own shots off for a round or two. Do you know what I mean? Just get used to it, and then once you're used to it, then start countering and whatnot. And counterpunch to counterpuncher. That's what I think, because Ruiz is going to be looking for AJ to come in there and just throw some big shots, and he's going to be waiting to counter him. But I'd assume that their camp has come up with some sort of strategy like that. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. Good stuff. 2 weeks now, gone mad quick. 5.5 months gone, madness. Looking forward to this. AJ seems to be in the right mind, and what can I say, man? It's a matter of time now.